As The Witcher 3's release date rapidly approaches, the gaming community prepares to receive Geralt's last adventure in what is shaping up to be an epic game. Are you ready to take on the Wild Hunt? Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another TG10, and this time around we'll be talking about The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and 10 things you should know about it. The previous Witcher titles were relatively well received by reviewers and consumers alike. The game's world, which is based on the Witcher books by Andrzej Sapkowski, lends itself to a very interesting style of storytelling where your character is neither a knight in shining armor nor an agent of the forces of evil. Geralt is a morally gray character, and that gives you the opportunity to truly roleplay a character as you see fit without being constrained by the boundaries of what's right or wrong. But before you jump into the Northern Kingdoms, here's a couple of things you should know about The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. DRM free on the PC. That's right, if you plan on buying The Witcher 3 for PC, you have the option of purchasing a DRM-free version through retail or GOG.com, which means no annoying online connections required once you install the game. You can just play without having to worry if the zombie apocalypse is about to hit us. So long as you have electricity, you're good to go. No bullshit pre-order DLC. Everyone gets the exact same experience from day one, and god damn, it's been a while since we had that, huh? With every other publisher whoring themselves out to retailers, giving consumers an extra mission if you pre-order at GameStop, or exclusive weapons for the Best Buy edition, maybe even a special skin for the Steam version. Well, I say to hell with all that nonsense. With Witcher 3, everyone gets the same game regardless of where you buy it. And that's a really good thing nowadays. A physical version that's actually worth a damn. I mean, these days when you buy a game, you're lucky if they added a friggin' pamphlet with any useful information about the game itself. Most of the times they just stuff the box with advertisement for their other titles and upcoming DLC for the game you just bought. The Witcher 3's standard version includes the game disc, a soundtrack disc, the game's manual, a compendium on the Witcher universe, a map of the game world, a set of Witcher 3 stickers, and a protective sleeve. This is the standard version. If you opt for the collector's edition, however, you get everything I mentioned in the standard edition, as well as the 10-inch statue of Geralt battling a griffin, a Witcher medallion, a steelbook case, and an art book. Now notice how all this extra content is basically fan service and not bullshit DLC. I would say Witcher 3 is raising the bar on physical copies of their games, but the reality of the matter is that they are simply maintaining the bar. Most physical copies used to be like this, before developers got lazy and greedy, that is. Free DLC for everyone. In the weeks following the release of the game, players can expect to receive 16 pieces of free DLC. You don't need to pre-order the game, you just need to own it. So far, they've only detailed 4 out of the 16 DLCs, which include the Temerian armor set, an additional beard and hairstyle, a new skin for Yennefer, and an additional side quest. Free DLC is always nice, and it's been a staple with the Witcher series. What surprised me, however, is that they've also announced a season pass for Witcher 3. Now that I did not see coming. However, this season pass is boasting a combined total of an additional 30 hours of gameplay, and if that's true, it feels more like one of those old school expansion packs, and I'm actually okay with that. What is a Witcher? With a lot of newcomers joining the series for its 3rd installment, I'm sure that some of you probably don't even know what a Witcher is. I mean, the first time I heard that name, I thought the main character was some kind of a witch hunter. A Witcher is actually someone who's been trained physically and mentally since childhood to hunt and kill monsters. Beyond their rigorous training, Witchers also take part in mysterious rituals and consume mutagenic compounds which enhance their strength, speed, reflexes, and endurance. So basically, they are mutants with greatly enhanced physical capabilities trained specifically for the purpose of hunting down and killing monsters for coin. Why two swords? is another question that newcomers might ask, since despite Geralt having 2 swords, he's always shown fighting with only one of them. The reasoning behind this is because in the Witcher universe, monsters and beasts are more vulnerable to silver, so Witchers tend to carry a silver blade specifically for fighting them. The other sword is made of steel and is used to fight humans or other mundane beings. Wild Hunt. Seeing this subtitle and then looking at the monster hunting features of Witcher 3, I wouldn't blame you if you assumed the Wild Hunt was actually referring to the hunting portions of the game. However, this is not the case. Far from it. The Wild Hunt is actually a group of specters that are considered an omen of misfortune and death, and it is based off an ancient folk myth prevalent across northern, western, and central Europe. Geralt and other significant characters in the game have already come into close contact with the Wild Hunt before. Character build. So what's the Witcher's skill set and how can you expect to play him to better suit your style? Based on what we've seen in previous games and what's been shown in the latest Witcher 3 footage, you can expect to have 3 main paths for developing your character: sword fighting, alchemy, and magic. Swordsmanship will obviously focus on improving how good your character is with a blade, whereas magic will increase your proficiency with signs like Igni, which is the flame attack you see Geralt perform in the videos. And finally, alchemy is generally used to boost your stats and resistances, or even craft bombs to use in combat. Something to keep in mind though, the Witcher fighting style will always include sword fighting to some extent, but you can't choose to rely more on magic signs or potions over physical prowess. Choice and consequence. Witcher 2 had some of the best choice and consequence mechanics I can remember, to the point where I was discussing the first 5 hours of gameplay with a friend and we had seriously different experiences, and later on a choice would actually dictate a whole different act depending on your decision. Witcher 3 has 36 possible states the world can end up in depending on your actions, and I for one can't wait to dive in and see what kind of moral dilemmas CD Projekt Red has in store for us. Living world. One of the biggest departures from its predecessors is the fact that Witcher 3 features a fully fledged open world. While Witcher 2 was far from a linear game, its world was somewhat constricted and considerably smaller in scale when compared to Witcher 3. But there's a lot more to this world than size. It has a day-night cycle, dynamic weather, NPCs have their routines and will react realistically to events unfolding around them, and the world continues to evolve even if the player chooses not to take part in any of its events. There's also a living economy where the prices of goods are dictated by the surrounding conditions of each location. Fish will be cheaper in villages near the sea, whereas ores and iron will be cheaper in towns in the vicinity of mines. All in all, Witcher 3 is looking really good, and just like Captain Shack, I'm pretty pumped up to dive into this world. What about you guys? Are you ready to dive into the Northern Kingdoms? Hit up that comment section and let us know how you feel about Witcher 3. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.